Welcome to the bunker. Join Nikki, Rosella, Robert, Kayla, and Cole Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time as we traverse the portals of the universe. Discover the secrets of the cryptids. Uncover the truth of conspiracy. And explore the hauntings of our world. And once again, welcome to the S-4 Paranormal Bunker.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the S-4 Paranormal Bunker. Tonight I am joined by Nikki Jacobs, and we are reading Reddit stories and trying to help some people. So,
cool.
I think it's like, I found a few good ones. Some of them I don't know about. I just kind of glanced over them, and like, most of them that's what I did. So, we'll see how this goes. Yeah, friend, I've been busy. I'm trying to redo a shower in our house, and today I had my daughter helping me for about 20 minutes until we found worms in the wall.
Oh, that's not fun.
It really was, to watch her reaction, because she just took her gloves off and walked away and said, "Nope, I'm out." I was pretty entertained. So,
I can imagine.
But it's been a heavy, hectic week, I think, for everybody.
Yeah.
And I did get to have some fun on Friday night. I went to watch the new Minecraft movie with the kids. And for all of our listeners, and for you, Nikki, if you have a chance, it's worth it to go see it in theaters. Even if you've never played the game, to see these kids get so excited. This is the most the cops have ever been called to an amount of theaters, because almost every city has had cops called to their theaters because of kids being disruptive. I don't consider it disruptive. I consider it absolute 100% pure childlike excitement. Because we went to the drive-in. And the drive-in...
There's still a drive-in?
Yeah, out in Oak Harbor. Blue Fox Drive-In, still running. Friend.
The one on the hill?
Yeah, and we for my birthday, Kayla bought me and the kids a membership. So,
that is so cool.
We get free passes once a month. Friend, but that, like Nikki just said, it's on a hill. But this sounded like an amphitheater. Yeah,
I was gonna say.
Everyone in the entire area was so loud during certain parts of the movie, screaming with excitement. Because this is a game that's been out for almost 20 years.
That's what I was thinking. It had to be about 20.
And it's still one of the most popular and most downloaded games out there. And so there's things that we saw that I saw for the first time when my boys were 5. And to see them brought to a live action screen was just insane. So
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it absolutely is worth it. I do have to say happy birthday to my wife Kayla,
Kayla, yeah.
and to Robert.
Yes.
Friend, it still weirds me out that they're one day after another. Friend, like, so,
And I
what's up, Nikki?
happy birthday to both of them. Well, and
Yeah.
I was going to say I owe an apology to Kayla and Robert because I had a couple of days which were really difficult, and I missed it until the day after, and I'm like, oh crap, for both of them. So my heartfelt apologies to both of them because I love both of them dearly. They're awesome people. So happy birthday to the two of you.
Don't feel bad.
Individually.
I got a happy birthday phone call from my son on the 3rd. Because he thought my birthday was on the next day. So, Fred, it happens.
It does happen.
Fred,
Seriously, it really does.
sometimes we find there's just too many birthdays.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, my family, we used to have birthdays from November all the way, yes, from November all the way through the end of March. And I kid you not, we had 5 birthdays. God, yeah, 5 birthdays between March 24th and March 30th.
Yeah.
Alone. And I'm like, and the other weird one was like between January 1st and January 5th. And it was like, oh my God. So it's, and I won't talk about February. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So our family has actually gotten to the point where we do a birthday party once every 2 months.
Yeah.
And
You pretty much have to.
Yeah, we just pick a day and everyone does it at the same time. Because it is just...
It's mayhem.
Yeah.
We used to do 2 birthdays.
Like ours is May 23rd to June 16th. I think we have 5 in there.
Yeah.
And if other people were still alive, there'd be 7.
Yeah.
So, like
10 to 3.
Yeah, it just, friend, it gets too much.
Everybody else is. I mean, you know, on my side of the family, everybody else is gone. So I mean, we're down to 3, and I'm like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
I used to make between 5 to 9 birthday cakes in January alone, and we're talking 3 inches each layer, 2.5 to 3 inches each layer, and anywhere from 8 to 10 inches in diameter. I mean, these are, yeah. I was known for it.
So we started going to Costco and just getting a full sheet.
Yeah, yep.
And then we get 3 different types of cake in the sheet. That way everyone got what they wanted pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Friend, because it like... But then the problem was all of us started going on diets. So now, like, we went from a full sheet to a half sheet. Now and then we went to the 10-inch round. And now we do cupcakes.
Yep.
Friend, because just no one eats sugar anymore.
Hmm.
So
we went down to pies. Smaller, not so many.
I've done that a few times for my birthday. I got a pie instead of cake. This year, I think the kids were very disappointed in my cake. I had a plain Black Forest cake. That's it.
Black Forest is good.
Yeah, but
Did you have
no icing.
One layer?
One layer, no icing. Friend, because as a diabetic, the icing is the thing that gets me.
Yep.
Friend, 1 piece of cake with icing and I get lightheaded. So.
Ooh, that's not good for a diabetic. That's
Robert,
bad.
you're in the freaking chat. Excellent.
Okay. I gotta got one more thing to do before I can get in the chat. I'm trying. Having slow internet issues tonight.
Yeah, I'm lucky still right on dial for that, so we're good there. Friend, we had problems 2 weeks ago with the internet out here. And looking back on the show, you can definitely tell the difference. So, but... Friend... Alright.
Yes.
So, would you like me to start with the first story?
Go for it.
Okay. Now, I have bad eyes, so we'll see how this goes. Uh, this story is from the subreddit Alien Abduction.
Okay.
And from the subredditor, her name is Astrolite7. Her, his, I'm not sure. Friend. Um, okay. The title is Need Help. Hey guys, a while ago, I had some pretty crazy experiences with orbs, entities taking over my vision, seeing invisible beings come into my house, and send these electrical shocks into my spine and up to my head. They would trigger convulsions in my body and spine. I can feel it latch on and off of my lower spine, and it will affect my whole body, my throat, my thoughts, everything. My son told me he can see this invisible entity on my back, and he says he has seen it on his mother as well, which I almost died in front of her from this uh, from this thing sending my body into full convulsions. These orbs have tried to pull me out the top of my head, as well as after I first experienced these weird phenomena. The following nights, I had a helicopter circling my house every night for a week. The first night, they had police blocking off every road to my neighborhood with bright high beams on. When this would happen, I would have really high-pitched frequencies in my ear and a feeling of something crushing my cervical spine. My dog would come up to me and start barking and growling at the air behind me. I now have a spot in my cervical spine that feels like it is actually literally rotating and messed up. I had them follow me as well in the sky, splitting off from each other as with all black trucks and SUVs following me, with the high pitched ringing again in my ears. They would appear in my mind and be projected over my vision as three entities. Every time they would try and pull what feels like my soul out of the top of my head, and I would feel like I'm being forcefully yanked out of my body. It was a big white orb that had green and orange pulsing orbs coming out of it. I have a difficult time retaining my energy now as it feels like it just leaks. Damn it. Out to people from my root or my neck. If I do breath work, I can get my spine to start popping into place all the way up, but it feels like something is locked onto my sacral, and eventually, eventually sucks the energy back down and out, which is where my son was looking when he said he could see it. I have had issues with my sacral ever since I was a child, such as bladder issues. My glutes are non-active. My ankle pronate, and it seems like no matter how hard I try, my energy is being focused and sucked out of my sacral. I can actually feel as it's happening, my entire posture will collapse, and I feel this tension taking over my chest. For some reason, I had a dream that I was a gorilla jumping through this forest, pounding on my chest. I got the idea to hit my chest pounding it the next time I felt this thing sucking on my back. When I did this in real waking life, I felt the vibrations reach up to my chest, and I felt like I could breathe again, but it felt like a snake or tentacles slithering around my body and tightening its grip on me. The vibrations would go back down to my sacral and magnetically get stuck there. When the energy gets pulled out, I can feel vibrations in my spine. My adoptive parents, for some reason, seem to be able to trigger the same thing in my sacral when I'm in their house. They will yawn or focus on me, and I feel pain in my sacral and a sensation of vitality depletion. Blah. I notice this thing tends to jump off of me and onto other people as well. It gets influenced by negative energy, and I will feel it stirring around me in my nerves and spine, in my sacral, making it intrusive and uncomfortable. As crazy as it sounds, it seems to be influencing other sacral around me, and I will feel twitching or pulsing that is so intrusive, and they seem to like they will start to get nervous, flustered, or even attracted to me, or get stuck while mid-conversation while looking in my eyes. But I feel like it's not me doing it. I want it to stop because it is intrusive. I feel like it is influencing so much around me. Whew. I will get these intrusive thoughts as well that seem to permeate my head. If I ignore it and hold the focus of ignoring it, my ears will ring and my sinuses will sort of pop open and release along with this pressure in my forehead, and the thoughts will leave. I can now feel a gravitational pull on my energy out of my sacral with certain people, as well as that drain it, but I will not know if they are doing it on purpose. When they are doing it, my legs will get shaky, my knees will start to hurt, and it feels like someone is pulling down on my feet. Actually, exactly how your body would form in it with a pelvic tilt and pronated ankles. It seems my whole body sort of seems to follow this pattern where it is getting sucked forward out of my sacral. These deformities formed over time since I was a child. I feel like I cannot ground properly, and my connection with the higher up has been cut off too. All of this seemed to happen after a near-death experience where I had some sort of stroke and almost died from cardiac arrest. The stroke happened a few days after I saw this grid lines in the sky, literally very simulation-like. I am seeing this grid and activating these energies in my body by interacting with this grid. I do not know if the first encounter with the orbs over my house and the electrical beings was helping me with a problem that was already there or caused it. Holy shit, that was a lot.
That was a lot. My first question is, how long ago was this written?
This was 7 days ago.
Tell her to contact her, him, whoever. Tell them to contact me. No joke. This is okay. I've got a couple of questions. They say
it's a he.
It's a he. Okay. He says that it started when he was 3 years old or 6 years old. That's number one. And number two, he also stated that it was more predominant, or to him, really felt that it started after this life-threatening experience. Can you read again? Just tell me the timeline again. It was like 3 years old or 6 years old. I just need to know the time of it and the description of. No, that's it. That's what I needed to hear. Is that and. No, that's all I need to hear for the second.
Okay, so it only says from the time I was a child.
Child. Okay, I thought he said 3 or 6 years old. Okay. Read the sentence. It's probably just, I'll let you know when to cut it off. About when he says he believes it started again at the time when he had this medical crisis and almost died.
Okay, it says these deformities formed over time since I was a child. I feel like I cannot ground properly.
Stop. Okay, now go to the section where he says.
That's where I am.
Okay, when he nearly died.
Yeah. I feel like I cannot ground properly and my connection with the higher up has been cut off too. All of this seemed to happen after a near-death experience where I had some sort of stroke and almost died from cardiac arrest. The stroke happened a few days after I saw these grid lines in the sky. Literally very simulation-like. I was seeing this grid and activating these energies in my body or interacting with this grid.
Okay, this is one where I need to actually see it in writing. But here's my take on hearing it. My first instinct is a wannabe. My second instinct, based totally on the what he talked about regarding the near death. If he was in a hospital, I've seen something like this in my mother's hospital room. Okay, it was a creepy, crawly, slithery, slimy, slithered like a snake, but had feet like a centipede.
Okay.
And it then got up, slithered, and then crawled. And I don't mean with the centipede feet. I mean with like legs like a dog or a cat. And then crawled on the wall and over to across the ceiling. And I immediately and this was one of those things where it wanted to attach to anybody who was in the process of very, very ill or near death. And my mom, they were talking about I had so many episodes with my mom back then that I had a number of doctors saying, well, we don't think she's going to make it. She's very, very ill and we don't think she's going to make it. And she pulled through each time, which is interesting. But those things are real. Just so that everybody knows, those things are very real. They prey on those who are really ill, and usually in the hospital. They don't prey on everybody, okay? There's specific energy that they go after. Now, the thing about the grid has me a little on the concern side. The orbs, the repeated orbs, that to me can be any kind of, it could be an ET, orbs can be so many different things. They're positive or negative. So, and right now, okay, hang on a minute. I'm not picking anything up psychically. I'm going off of intuition and what I know. See if I can.
I want to know why he's not concerned that his son can see both of these.
I'm not so concerned about that. It means that both of them have intuition. They're both probably some form of energy worker. The way he described certain things tells me that he's some kind of psychic, some kind of medium, some kind of, or has those abilities, may not use them on a regular, daily, second by second basis. And that can go down the line. That can go down genetically. I mean, that can go.
But he just says it's so off the cuff.
Yeah, that's because it's normal and natural to their family. That's why. So it doesn't. It would not surprise me. Now, if I would be fascinated as to how old. I didn't catch how old the kid was.
He doesn't say.
Yeah, that's what I.
He doesn't give any of their ages, and but okay. I feel like he's older than, well, at least as old as me.
Mm-hmm. That's the feeling that I got too.
He quit smoking. He no longer drinks.
Mm-hmm. So,
usually that's.
You're usually in your late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's usually a timeline for that kind of thing. And the fact that he's talking about he's not able to ground, he's not able to center, he's not able to hear. Basically, he's not able to hear the hierarchies anymore.
And I'm a little worried about the adoptive parents.
And the fact that it jumps, yeah, that's the other thing I was going to comment on. I hadn't gotten there yet, but yeah, that's a big concern because it leads into a bunch of other questions. If it didn't come from one of the parents or both, or something that, because you got a traveler, you've got one of those that's they jump from person to person, and a lot of beings can do that. It's not anything out of the ordinary. Oh, I literally just heard bloodsucker. It's not just energy, but bloodsucker. Holy shit.
Friend, so there isn't a lot of helpful things in the comments either.
No, I'm sure there's not.
The one person is telling them they need to clean up their act, friend, because it's an awakening of his body and everything spiritual.
It's more than that. It goes way beyond that. You're talking where you have to not just clean your entire home when you've got something like this. Like what we talked about a number of programs ago, a number of episodes ago, where you've got to go in and clean the property, clean the home. I'm talking saying protective prayers, have a 3x5 card, doing that route and expelling the energy out, getting the other energies, because if there's one, it's possible, not probable, but it's likely there could be others that are on the outside of the property. Especially the way he talked about with the parents. And once you get rid of something like this off your body, it's going to take a lot of energy on his part to keep it clear. Because these things, once you evict one, others, you become vulnerable. And others want to come in. Because it's like, ooh, tasty morsel, what can I do here? And they will try to work their way back in. So what you do is you go in, you protect the, you have somebody else, preferably, go in and protect the property, evict whatever else is there. Okay, I was just told eggs. This thing produces, oh God, I did not, okay. I don't need to be shown that. That's gross. This thing produces eggs, and there's eggs on that oh, God. Oh, no. It's not one of these. I don't know the name of them. They're not nice. They produce eggs. It's in a different dimension, but it's in our dimension. I don't know how else to say that. It's like on another level of existence, but in ours. Yeah, I got an icky feeling about this. I mean, like, it just hit me with the eggs, and then I start it. Yeah. He's got some hardcore serious stuff he needs to work on, and he needs to be calling in some angels. In my personal opinion, based on what I know from what I have seen on somebody else's property, yeah, I would call in a team. This is not just for one person to do. Sorry, I got stuff with my eye going on tonight. This is stuff for at least 2, if not 3 people going in on the property, clearing, maintaining the property on a regular basis, and working on him. I wouldn't call this does not, there's a feel to it now. I can actually feel it. It's not a demon, and it's not a wannabe. It's a parasite.
Okay.
Oh, and it is from another dimension. And there's an opening here on Earth. Oh, that's nice. You're one of those. Yuck. Yeah, and it can be gotten rid of, and the eggs can be killed. It's probably why there's probably a few of those eggs on the metamorph. It's a metamorph. There's probably a few of those eggs around the parents on property or apartment or wherever they live. That's probably why. And the older it gets, the stronger it gets. So it's time to do an eviction. Long past time to do an eviction.
I am just writing out a message for him to contact you on Facebook.
Yeah, and the number 22 is important. I don't know why.
Friend, I do have an issue with a comment because we have talked, well, you have talked a lot on this show.
About
your soul cord.
Yeah.
And a comment
It's
that is
feeding.
made is bothering me.
What's the comment?
You may also need a cord cutting done.
That's different.
Okay. Brand.
Cord cutting is very, very different than a soul cord cutting.
Have you ever heard of an SRI Master Gano? Gano?
I gotta write that one down. Just a second. A master. Say it again. Master what?
So their spiritual teacher SRI in capital, and then Master Gano Gano.
I've heard of SRI and Master, but I've never known what it goes to.
And he's supposed to check out this website, www.galacticus, so GALIGHTICUS.com.
Never heard that either.
Me either. I don't really want to click on it because if I do, it
No.
could mess
Yeah,
everything.
it could be a. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's where you need a separate laptop or a separate hard drive and
I am on
do
one,
that.
but it's the backup for the show. For
Oh yeah, you don't. No. That's a no. Yeah. SRI. God, I know that. It rings a bell. It's ringing bells in me, but I can't figure out why. And I got my brain back this past weekend, so hey.
Fran, well, we're going to do a little bit of research on that one, I think, because, Fran, if that's not a good one to go to, I also want to go through and report people's comments if they're sending them bad places.
Yeah, that would be good.
Fran,
okay, I just got a name.
I do want to say to everyone, there's a comment on here that bothers me in so many fucking ways. Friend, I'll read the comment out. I haven't read all of it yet, but I just need to ask you come off antidepressant recently, as you can get brain zaps from withdrawals which go through your spine to your head. I've had it before. Do you take any antidepressants? Sorry for the personal questions. I'm happy to speak privately instead. I've also had paranormal alien experiences, so I'm not discounting your experiences. You absolutely are discounting their experiences.
Yeah, they are.
Because you haven't read the story yet.
There's medications. Okay, so here's the thing. You need a paranormal. If you're really gonna do this, you need a paranormal team. One that has a psychiatrist or psychologist, who is most likely retired, because most active ones will absolutely not deal with paranormal at all. And those that do are doing it as they're retired because they can legally do it. There's a huge legal kerfuffle about it. Let's just put it that way. That said, there are things that I thought of earlier that I hadn't mentioned yet, but with what he talked about, specifically with what he talked about, he's some kind of energy worker. He works with energy. For him to talk the way he talked about things in this write-up speaks volumes as to what kind of information he knows. He's being vague, but yet specific at the same time. He's trying to hide his identity for probably dang good reasons.
Yeah, but I feel also like he might have something to do in the medical community.
Yes.
Because he's very medical.
Well, either that or he's has a lot of knowledge. That's where I was going to go with that.
Yeah, it could be he just has a lot of knowledge. But...
a lot of experiences, a lot of knowledge. So I mean that's like me. When I go to describe certain things and it has to be explicit but yet vague enough just to give information. So
but he uses medical jargon.
Yeah.
Until he gets to points where medical jargon can't explain what he's saying.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Which says that he's a critical thinker.
Yeah.
It speaks volumes as to who this person actually is. They're really wanting help. They're not wanting hokum.
Yeah, and like he still feels jumbled up and incoherent. Yeah. But he's not.
No, I don't think so either. But it's affecting his brain. It's affecting his thinking. It's affecting his energy systems, and that's a big deal. You're talking paranormal. You're not talking medical stuff. The kind of things that he's talking about, and then the fact he brought in of the issue of his son seeing it.
Yeah.
That is a big deal. So that also makes me want to find out, how old is this kid? Is this kid under the age of 7? Is this kid 14? I keep getting the number 14. Now, is he older? Is he an adult? And he has mediumship or psychic abilities or some kind of abilities where he's maybe seeing things occasionally. But if they've tried, see, here's the other side, is what are the other things that I've done? Oh, I wanted to get back to the cord cutting. Cord cutting could mean, in this specific situation, to cut the cord that he has between whatever this entity, this being is, and whatever trauma that caused this entity to be drawn to him. Because we as light workers draw in, we're like a beacon in the dark for a lot of these things. And we go, and it just draws them right in, and you have to know how to protect yourself, and you have to know how your body feels and works with that energy. That's why when I had that little boy, that spirit, that 8-year-old boy who was being held by another spirit in a haunted, very well-known haunted house in Washington state, that I had to ask Robert, because I felt like I was ET hybrid pregnant. I was like, I feel like I'm pregnant with twins. And I had already known that I was ET pregnant, but I felt like I had twins. And it was because the soul of the little boy, who was so traumatized, he saw my light as a beacon. And he went and glommed on. And I went, okay, Robert, I need your help. I need you to see something that I'm not seeing, because I'm in mom mode. And he saw it, and he's like, okay, we need to deal with this. I'm like, yeah, we need to deal with this. And that's when I went, okay. And little boy had attached him to my soul cord. Now, it's very possible, because that was the only way that he could get out. Now, it's very possible, and I didn't even know spirits could do that, but this one was under trauma, a lot of trauma on a daily, regular basis for over 100 years. But what my point is that it's very possible that this thing has, if he's feeling it in his sacral, the fact that he knows what that is, that's a big deal. He's also probably attached, it is probably also attached to him by his root chakra as well. And root chakra goes into our tailbone. It goes into our soul cord.
Can you explain to me what a sacral is?
Sacral is a chakra.
Okay.
So the fact that he is saying that it's attached to his sacral, he knows where it's attached to on him. So you've got a whole chakra system. You've got the root, you've got the sacral, and sacral is kind of like tummy. It's kind of like your gut area, but it's just slightly below your tummy. Depends on how you feel. Some people feel it directly in their stomach. Others feel it slightly lower than that.
So I'm not wrong then, I don't think.
Your tailbone is like your root chakra. It's slightly above your tailbone, but that's essentially where it's at.
Okay, so I think the parents are a separate problem.
Yeah, I do too.
I think
there's something attached to them, and it's interplaying, is what I think. But that's not psychic. That's my...
See, I'm going towards energy vampire type thing.
Yeah, when I heard blood sucking,
vitality depletion.
Yes.
So
you got an energy vamp.
Yeah.
You've also got, it's not just an energy vamp, you've also got, it's one of those slithery slimy that produces eggs. So it's a multi.
To actually say that his parents are that, we would need more information on them, I think.
Yeah. Well, and it's almost to the point to where I would say on somebody in this kind of situation, this is where I would put a small team together on a temporary basis to deal with this. And temporary could be anywhere from 1 day to 3 weeks, because this is going to take time to deal with.
Yeah.
And it may take a very short amount of time, and then maintenance, or it may take some time to remove it and then deal with everything, or vice versa. Anyway, point is that its potential to work could take a pretty decent amount of time. 3 weeks is a pretty decent amount of time in something like this, in my opinion.
Yeah. Friend.
Fascinating. I had not thought of. Boy, when I got told the eggs, wow, I knew exactly what I'm dealing with. It's in that same category of what I dealt with in 2020.
Friend,
And that's saying something. Took a team of 5 of us.
I hope he responds back to you, because like the fact that he can't ground now reefer, like that worries me.
That is a huge. That's a matter of fact. In the private chat for the S-4, send me his what his title is in the.
Okay.
He goes by, what his name is.
I'll do you one better.
Yeah. I gotta write. This is from Reddit, right?
Oh wait, I think I sent that to the wrong one. Oh no, I didn't send it. Good.
Like a strobe. Oh, Robert says doctor scene now to be picked up, or like a strobe. Yeah, like a strobe. Yeah, Robert, you're right. I didn't even see that. Yeah, it could be like a strobe.
I'd come get you, Robert, but it'd be a while.
That's a 15-hour flight plus.
Plus, I don't think the plane does stops like that.
No. Oh my god.
So I just sent you the picture of the actual page.
Got it.
Friend, well,
got it. Okay.
On my comment that I made,
yeah,
someone already upvoted it. So I'm hoping that's him.
Somebody uploaded your comment?
They upvoted. So with comments on Reddit, you can either upvote them or downvote them if you don't like them.
Yeah.
Ooh, hey, that's actually a good plan. I'm going to do that to one of these. So, and I believe if you get out or get too many downvotes, it deletes your comment.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Trying to get back to you because somebody else just tried to call me. Oh, busy night.
Maybe it was Robert looking for a ride.
No. No, it's not. Well, at least it's good to know that I'm still alive and you can still see me. Hello. Boy, that's a close video. Okay. Anyway.
Okay, so the next one.
Yeah.
Comes from subreddit Paranormal. And their name is fair-diver-2502. And the title is, I saw something when I was 13 and want to know what it is. Okay, there it is. Okay, so this was like a decade or so ago, but I've always wanted to know what this thing is. When I was 13, I was practicing a dance for my mom. I had a competition coming up and I was a younger member on the team. I didn't want to mess it up for anyone, so I made her watch me practice. I was in the living room which faced our backyard. We had a couple windows that display the backyard in eyesight of where we were. As I was doing the dance, I bent down, and when I popped back up, I saw a woman with dark hair and a white dress. She was dirty. The dress was sleeveless, and her skin was a white gray. Around her eyes were black, as if you applied black eyeshadow all around them. You couldn't see her eyes as they were also black and blended into the black ring around them. Her teeth were sharp. All of her teeth were sharp. She was just staring at me. I froze. I stared at her for what felt like a minute until my mom said, "What is it? What are you looking at?" She was panicked because I just stopped all of a sudden, was staring past her. Once she pulled my attention away from the woman, she was gone. I told my mom I saw someone. She ran out into the backyard. She's she's not surviving a horror movie. And no one was there. There weren't any signs of someone standing outside that window. There's a little garden right below it. It'd be very easy to tell if someone had been standing there, but there was nothing. She came back in and said nothing was there. She believes I saw something because she said I went pale and was just staring out the window. I'll add, my house was between two cemeteries. The block our house was on was one street down both directions from the cemeteries. When my mom and dad first moved in, she swears there were ghosts there. She'd hear whistling often, but no one else would be home. It unnerved her so badly she had people come look at the house and cleanse it. I don't know. Every now and then one of us would catch glimpses of a shadow or something. When my sister was a kid, she was terrified of a man in the drain, and none of us saw it besides her. My dad and brother don't believe in all that, but me, my mom, my sister all swear we've seen, heard things. I don't know if this is useful info to anyone, but it feels relevant to add. But none of us have ever really seen something in such a way as I did. I look and never saw the woman again, but I can picture her so clearly. She sent a chill down my spine, but I could not look away from her. She was like the ghost from The Ring or The Grudge, but different. Like The Ring or The Grudge aren't quite what she looked like, but they're kind of similar in regards to the white dress and long black hair. I know this sounds crazy. I swear I'm not a wackadoo. I never tell anyone about it because it sounds psychotic. But if anyone here has any ideas as to what she is, please let me know. I've never been able to figure out what she was, and I really want to know. Okay. Yeah, Robert, you're right. Absolutely charming little home, right between two cemeteries.
That's what I was laughing at earlier. Was this comment? I can't get it out of my head. I lived a block and a half from a cemetery, a very small cemetery.
We are not laughing at you. It's the fact, the way you say things.
Humor.
You are an absolutely wonderful person.
Oh, a gem. Just a gem.
Your mom's not surviving. First of all, that's your mom. Like, you need to help her survive.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, God almighty.
Friend.
Anyway, okay, so black eyes, black surrounding the eyes, but and the teeth, but I missed the rest of not the overall. I get that. But there was something before the black circles around the eyes. I need to hear that again.
Her skin was a white gray. White/gray.
Okay.
Friend,
Was she in a cloak?
No, she's in a sleeveless white dress. That's dirty.
Sounds like a ghoul to me.
When I was thinking like the 1600s.
No, they would have been fully dressed, like sleeves and everything.
My thinking was like a night dress.
Possible.
Yeah. Boy, that just... She's awesome.
I want to bring something up.
What's that?
One thing that a lot of people in America forget is a lot of times people, when buried, are buried with jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Jewelry that is passed down.
Yes.
Jewelry that still sometimes has the essence of someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Now,
inherited jewelry.
I'm trying to remember their frickin' names. It starts with an H. They took over Egypt for 2 years.
Oh. Now all I can think of is the Hittites, and that's not right.
Yes, it is. That's them.
Ramanatra.
Nope, Hittites is right.
Hittites.
Right? And it was a twin set of kings that took over. Okay. Their women used to spike their teeth. They would shave them down to spike them.
They'd file them.
Yes. And a sleeveless dress in Egypt would work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it was considered, what was it, a sheath? something like I can't remember the term, but it was something like SHEATH sheath type dress.
I'm not up on my Cleopatra
No,
secret.
I used to. No, it's not. It's something that they. I used to do all kinds of reading when I was a teenager, and that's ringing bells. But it's also ringing bells for the 1600s, 16 and 1700s in nightgowns.
Well, but that's the thing.
Although they would, I do have to say, some of them would have long sleeves instead of short sleeves.
So what if it is actually a spirit from the 1700s, but wearing jewelry from the Egyptian Hittites?
Oh, then you're screwed.
Well, not really, because she's only been to the house once. She never came back. The mom scared the shit out of her. See, Mom's
That
gonna
they've
survive.
seen.
Mom's gonna survive.
What was that, Rob?
I said that they have seen.
Yes, that's just what I was thinking too.
I will say, though, like, for living in between two cemeteries, they don't have that much going on that's bad.
No, they really
That's good.
don't. If that's the only thing, that's
Like,
nothing in
Mhm.
comparison.
if the whistling's at night, well, then that ghost is just an asshole. But because that's not okay.
Might have just been seeing. Might have just been seeing if there was anything to gnaw on.
Right. Like,
Yeah, to me, this is a spirit. This is not. That's the other thing. She didn't talk about the fact that this thing, you could see through it. She
no.
didn't talk that this was solid.
Yeah, like,
Just what it looked like. So it could be a full body apparition where and I'm not picking anything up psychically either. So I mean, okay, I just got full bodied apparition is literally what I just got told.
and that is what it is described as. There is she describes it as an actual woman standing there.
Yeah, which means you're not going to see through it.
And then when her attention is taken away from it to her mom, it
Yeah,
disappears.
that's when it disappears. Yeah. I don't think it expected to be seen. That's my
Maybe.
gut intuition. I don't think it expected to be seen.
Probably.
Probably was like, oh shit, and friggin' ran behind the bushes.
And on the outside, it was on the
Here?
outside, and she was on the inside, correct?
Yeah.
The headlight book.
Yeah. So it's walking. It's walking grounds. It's walking the grounds to see who's around. That's interesting. Why would it do that and not go in? Woo. Why would it go in and not do not go inside? That's got me a little on the curious side. Don't want it inside anyway, but I got all kinds of curiosity going right now. Yeah, to me, the full body apparition is what I got told.
Okay.
There's something to do. It's black makeup. It is black makeup. It's charcoal. It's charcoal around the eyes.
And again, the Hittites women used charcoal around their eyes. And if they were the priestesses, they used a heavy, heavy amount.
Yeah, they would color their eyelid as well as their upper eye, and they would go pretty dark down here.
Yeah.
Because the Egyptian women, the regular Egyptian women, they would tightline on the whites of their eyes. That's called tightlining, up and through here.
Yeah.
And they would do it all through the top as well. So they didn't go underneath. They did not like what she described. And the reason I know that is because, hello, I was one back then. I was Egyptian back then, and I was in a royal family. I wasn't pharaoh or any BS like that, but I was in a royal family, so I remember it very well. Those that were not royal did not. Well, they did. They did the underneath, trying to. Oh, another subject. But anyway, yeah.
Friend,
How's that for them beans?
it. Okay, her mom believes in cleansing the house. Maybe
Good.
that's why they never had something inside.
That's probably why.
Friend,
If you're living that close between two cemeteries, you need to do the entire property.
no, you need to call the
You need to
fucking
do.
Winchesters.
I don't think it's that bad. I think regular normal people can do it. Just go do a cleansing and put a protective barrier around the perimeter of the property, one on the outside of the home, and cleanse the inside of the house. And I would do that at least every 6 months. I know people that would say, "Are you kidding? I'd be doing that every month." You don't have to do it that often.
Well, from the
Just
sound,
update it once or twice a year.
damn right,
Just
Robert.
bag of
Damn
salt.
right.
Invest. Yeah, not ingest.
Either one works.
No,
And a few pieces of iron, you know.
no, because you want the Fae to come in. The iron keeps out the Fae. You want the good Fae to come in, so iron will keep Fae out.
Not inside you. That's a bad idea. Friend, that's sexual harassment. Friend.
Oh, Jesus, Cole.
But, like, I am happy to know, like, it seems like they no longer live in this house.
Oh, good. That's good to know.
Because the way she talks about it, like, I was in the living room which faced our backyard. We had a couple windows that display the backyard, and I said where we were.
Yeah.
So it sounds like they've moved away from this house.
It does sound like they've moved away.
Which is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
But the other thing I'm wondering, like, I wish people put the area they live in, not like the city or the state.
What do you mean the area? You mean like residence?
Yeah, like where this happened, what state it was in, that type of thing, country.
Country versus residential area of a city.
Yeah, like I don't want their addresses on here or anything, but
No.
an area would be wonderful to have.
Yeah,
that
forest
can also
area, that'll make a huge difference.
Because there's like one thing that came to mind for me was when she said when she says all of her teeth were sharp. And this might just be me being a fanboy, friend, because I've never gotten an answer from anyone on a yes or no. But like we say, everything always comes from somewhere.
Yeah, and comes with consequences.
Yep. But Anne Rice to the day she died swore Lestat was real.
I know he is.
There's also a bank in fucking New Orleans that states he was real.
I know he is.
Now, part of her stories is that there is a race of vampires that don't just have the classic 2 teeth. It's every tooth. And they are... I don't want to say that way.
I've never
think how to say
stated
that. Friend, they are messy people, I guess. I don't want to say dirty people, but they don't clean themselves.
That's not how I know them.
No? So when she describes them, when Lestat describes them to her, they have a full set of sharp teeth. They do wear dresses and clothes, but they are constantly dirty. Because they don't keep homes. Friend, they are a race of vampires that just live off the land, pretty much. So,
We should have our Keith on to have that conversation.
but, and the reason I say that it could be me fanboying is because I've always wanted to be one of them. Not the ones with all the teeth, but like Lestat, I want to be him. Nikki, they get skinny immediately. Come on.
Not the way to get skinny.
Pretty good way. Just saying.
No, it's not a good way. No.
Not for the people around you, but for you, it's okay. Like, you know what I mean? And as long as you're not that...
I just heard, now, Cole, you got the finger pointed at you. Somebody's doing this. Now. Oh, I can't believe you got the...
I can, because it's not a normal freaking day if I don't.
But I've never had that for you. That blows my mind, actually. I'm stunned.
Well,
sorry.
Give it time. Well, that'll happen more.
Somebody just said you got this when you were around a campfire. You did something that you weren't supposed to do, and they just did this to you. Oh, that's interesting. I don't need to know anymore.
I have done a lot of things around a campfire that I wasn't supposed to do. Friend.
Hold on that.
Well, I drank an entire bottle of tequila and fell into a campfire. Friend.
Oh my God.
It wasn't my fault. Somebody moved it, I swear.
Somebody moved what, the campfire?
Yeah. Friend, it wasn't there when I last looked. Friend. So what do you guys think? Just
full body apparition that is, I don't think it's a vampire or anything like that,
no.
But I think full body apparition.
And I like it was a first thought when she said teeth were sharp, but after she described everything, wouldn't a ghoul try and actually get in, Robert?
Yeah, possibly if there weren't wardings put up. So, but you said that she had done the cleansing type in the house. And, yeah.
But again, I don't know what cleansing means to them.
With the teeth, I'm thinking that means that they like their steak without cutlery.
That's true. Brian. I think that's the best description we can give her at this point is friend. And there is no the comments are dumb. Like
don't even.
Well, it's a little picture of a ghost, and then she says, "Oh, hey, you scared me." So, like, when was this written? 45 minutes ago. This one's brand new. Holy crap. Friend. That was the last one I found. Okay. So we're going to move on from that. I will write her a message saying we believe it's a full-body apparition. Nothing more, nothing to worry about. If she's not having problems anymore, I would say it hasn't attached itself to her or anything.
Or, it may on the outside of the property, but because the house was protected on the inside. So, because they've moved on, it comes down to whoever owns the property now.
Yeah. And good luck to them.
Yeah, pretty much. I hate to say it that way, but pretty much.
Yeah.
Every house I've moved, actual physical house, not apartment, but actual house that I've moved into has been haunted. Including an apartment that was turned into it was a barn that was converted into 2 apartments. Even that place was haunted, but nothing was negative. I mean, it's just people die and that's where they want to stay. And It's just how it was. Of course, now that building is no longer there. They've got a YWCA there, but sorry. But yeah, it's just over time, property change.
Yeah.
People change. So, I still wonder what happened to the guy who had 12 children. I don't wonder about his wife because, she was a pill and a half. But because I actually met her while she was alive, and but her husband, I mean, he was on that property that when I was pregnant, and I told him, I said, you don't bother me, I don't bother you. You touch my child, you have got a different thing coming. So he and I made an agreement when I was pregnant, and he was cool. I had no problems with him. And then my dad died, and my dad was around me all the time, and had no problems with the guy. So, he would just watch. And periodically I'd get a tap on the shoulder, well, more of like a nudge, but basically, essentially a tap on the shoulder going, hey, when I'm in the kitchen making dinner and you got to look out the window, during my 5 minutes that I wasn't out the window because my kid was out back and, making dinner, and I look out the window and, oh, he decided to climb the tree, which he knew he wasn't supposed to do unless he talked to me first. So then everything gets shut off on the stove, and I'd go outside and I'd sit on the stairs and watch him. Like, okay.
Friend, take
pictures.
I've only ever had one agreement with a spirit, and that was the ghost at my parents' house, Fred. And the deal was, I was going to blame him every time my dad's cookies, friggin' disappeared. Yeah, it was his fucking fault. I don't know what happened.
Is your grandmother still alive?
No.
Excuse me?
No, none of them.
Okay, I think it's her, but I'm not.
That gave me the finger?
That was doing this.
Friend. Damn it.
I think she told on you.
She used to do that all the time when I was a kid. Friend.
The finger thing?
Yes.
Oh, this explains the two fingers. So you got this going and this.
But it was always with a smile, and then she'd say, no, no, no. Friend.
Oh,
and then I'd say,
sense.
yes, 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 I'm out. Friend.
Oh, God.
All right. Our next one comes from subreddit Paranormal Helpline. The guy's name is Blue Fiddles. I like him already. The title is, Any Ideas or Help with What's Going On? Okay. Been seeing orbs flying in my home. They swoop by so fast I almost dismiss it as nothing. So 2 nights ago I was seeing them in my bedroom and eventually decided to go to sleep. As soon as I laid down, I felt like something like long hair was tickling my face. It happened a few times, so I got up and put the lamp on and sat up in bed. I started saying a prayer and doing a clearing. I kept repeating the clearing and asking that it go in peace. I started to get somewhat demanding as I was repeating it. All of a sudden, from about the foot of the bed and roughly 5 to 6 feet off the floor, appeared a baseball-sized white flashing orb clear as day. It flashed a few times super fast, almost as if it was charging up, maybe a second or two, and then it flew as fast as lightning into my chest, specifically my heart. It felt like I was being tased for maybe 30 seconds to a minute in my chest area. It was also hard to catch my breath before that feeling slowly dissipated around a minute. I instantly started yelling at it to leave and saying how dare it as best I could as it was hard to speak. After the feeling went away and I calmed down, I told it I forgive it and kept saying a prayer. I could still feel it there. I also saw a black orb coming in through the doorway a little while later. As I tried to sleep a couple of hours later, I felt something hit my right eye as my eyes were closed. I was under the impression an orb flew at me in that spot. This one didn't hurt, though. It felt similar to that puff of air on your eye you used to get at the doctor office. Needless to say, I didn't get much sleep that night. Also, that evening before all this, my toddler and I heard 3 loud knocks with no one around. I also experienced a static feeling in the air and my right ear began to ring. At that same time, my 3-year-old put his hands on his ears and said, "What is that?" The knocking sounded like someone was banging on the side of the house and no one was around. Not sure if that's related or not, it's just kind of weird. The following night, I slept in a different room with no issues. Still feel like it's around though. I have been in this house a little over 3 years with no real issues. Not sure what to make of it. Sounds crazy, but I promise you it happened. Any help or advice is greatly appreciated. I'm not sure what I should do. The simple fact I got attacked by an orb is disturbing.
That is being attacked. Like I said, so many things can be in an orb form. I mean, you can talk ETs, you can talk spirits, you can talk entities. Certain entities can be an orb. Even did I say Sasquatch already? Sasquatch, Bigfoot can turn into an orb. There are so many, the Fae. There are so many. Yeah, sorry. Somebody was trying to say something to me, and I'm like, well, duh. That's my response. Sorry. That's not nice. Sorry.
I'm wondering, though, which one of them would tase you?
That's what I'm thinking. Not many of them would physically assault. Because that's a physical assault, but not many would actually. I am not saying that name. Are you kidding me? I just got told to write something down. Just a second. Robert, you got anything?
Just that I've dealt with ones that have gone into people and done that sort of thing, and they're around, but not very often.
Yeah.
Rare. Yeah. Yep. I had it on mute because there's people around here, and there's a bus that going around with squeaky brakes.
Burn.
I got a name, but I'm not comfortable saying this name, and it's a religious name. I am just stunned. And yeah, they are dead. Very. Like, freaking time ago. Twofold.
Okay, hold on. We have an update.
Twins.
We have an update, Nikki.
Yeah.
So I cleansed the house about 4 days ago. The night before, my wife said she heard the knocking, and again it was 3 knocks. Also that night, my kid was up crying and restless all night, which might be a coincidence, but that never happens. The air just felt weird, so I figured the cleansing had to be done.
Good.
But I'm wondering if the kid was attacked. Brent.
Or could see it.
Named Jason, which has nothing. That's a secondary name. Got the name Jason after the word twins. If it's a twin energy.
Because the kid's a toddler.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if the kid can actually.
See?
Well.
Feel. Most kids can.
Tell them what happened. Like if he had the same experience where he was actually tased,
That would hurt like hell to a child.
But he wouldn't be able to tell them what happened, not really.
No.
Well, it's possible he could, but he might not be able to.
I keep getting the twins.
Remember when you told me not to put the fork into the outlet? That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
Well, I stuck my finger in a light socket when I was crawling. Pat me real fast.
Do you
Don't
guys
do
remember
that.
when Jolly Ranchers used to come in metal
Wrappers?
We used to make them into like the light socket covers and then kick them.
Oh my God. So did Lifesavers.
Yeah, so you just wrap it so that it would make both connections, set it in just ever so slightly, and then you kick it, and it makes a really big fucking spark.
That was back when, well, that was a few years ago.
Yeah, before we had brains. Friend.
Somebody keeps repeating over and over and over again, twins. I'm wondering if one of the family members was supposed to be a twin, and the twin is the deceased twin, the one that didn't make it, is trying to make a point. But I've never heard of a spirit doing that. I've never heard. Well, not unless, I mean, they'd have to be really pissed, but, and I'm not picking anything else up. I mean, it's literally, I heard a religious name, the words twofold, and then the word twins, and then the name Jason. And it's not, it's related, somehow related to the twins. But I've never heard of a spirit doing so. I've heard of, I mean, unless they're very angry. Unfortunately, I've seen Fae, I've seen ET in spirit, or in orb form. I know others have seen Sasquatch in orb form. The interesting thing is that based on how I understand it, they can't turn their energy to white.
Okay, hold on.
That's the other thing. I mean, the negative ones are not capable of turning their energy to white.
He wrote another thing.
It has to be something that is not detrimental. There's a difference between negative and detrimental. There's a big difference.
It's something they brought into the home.
Yeah, see, I'm not picking anything of that up.
So, nothing strange has really happened before this. We did buy an old handmade dresser that had writing on the inside of the drawers of all the places it's been. The lady we bought it off of was telling us the story. We had it about 2 years now, but after we bought it, my wife and I kept seeing something in the corner of our eye near the doorway of the room it was in. Kind of like a shadow or something move that makes you look. The kind of thing that makes you think you're just imagining it, but we would both see it at the same time. We eventually just dismissed it and forgot about it.
Cleanse it.
Fred.
That's my first thing. Matter of fact, I would rub it down with salt.
Yeah.
I would put gloves on so that you're not soaking that salt into your skin. I would put on rubber gloves, not disposable, but like the old-fashioned kitchen gloves. I'd put rubber gloves on, and I would take not sea salt. There's a certain kind of salt I'm thinking of. I just can't think of the name of it right now. And not iodized, but salt. And just
Himalayan?
Yes.
Or rock salt.
Yes, thank you.
Because it's pure.
Yes. And take it in clumps, wet it down with some water, take everything off of this thing, take it outside, and rub it down with salt. And make sure whatever that salt drops onto on the ground, you don't want anything there because you're going to kill the grass. You will kill weeds and everything with it. So if you don't, but rub it down with salt. Let it sit for, I don't know, half hour, an hour, if you can, outside. And then
let it dry with the salt on it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And after that, also do Palo Santo. Literally just came, that's not what I was going to say, but I just got told Palo Santo, smoke it inside, take everything out of the drawers and everything, and because you're going to have to salt the inside of the drawers, the outside of the drawers, the runners, the whole 9 yards, the inside of the back, inside of the walls of this cabinet. As soon as that's dry, smoke it with Palo Santo and do a blessing prayer, however you want to do that. It doesn't have to be religiously based if you're not religious. Better if it is in some regards, depends on what this being is. But Palo Santo it and have a 3x5 card, 5x7 card, whatever, piece of paper, don't care. And write out a prayer that you want it, that this thing will never return. Nothing will attach to this, and let that smoke permeate it. But let that go another half hour at least, preferably an hour, and then take it, dust everything off of it, take it back in and wipe it down inside, because you want this thing, after the salt is off of it, after the smoke is off of it, clear all the salt off, but don't wipe it down. Just push it off and then haul it into the house and the drawers with it into the house. It is a lot of work, but when you got something that is that attached,
yeah. So
this is what I would do.
Potential_owl4675 gave the exact same, like word for word almost what you just said.
Holy crap, really?
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
That's awesome.
So, but
yeah, no, the only thing I've got up is the video on YouTube, so I don't have.
Well, and you're missing stuff that they said too, but it's just like basic shit, but other options.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
They said Palo Santo as well, but they also said sage or any other cleansing herb.
Now, I got specifically told by.
And that's probably because they the other side knows more what you're dealing with. She's just giving a basic.
Yeah.
Of what you could use.
Because see, that's what I was going to say was sage, white sage,
and
burn white sage around it. But I specifically, literally, as it was about to come out of my mouth, I got corrected and told say Palo Santo, not sage. Sage isn't strong enough for this.
A username Advanced War actually gives a full description of how to do a proper shielding.
Good.
Friend, the only thing that they don't mention that I would is the description that they're giving you for how to do the shielding. It may work for you, but you may have to find something else that works for more as a person. Because not everything's going to work for absolutely everybody.
True. The other thing that I literally just got shown is they need to have some kind of talisman. I don't know why. Something that means something to them personally. And get a little screw or something, or even a piece of tape. But personally, I would screw it in because there's something about the metal of the screw. Or even there's something about the metal. Even a tack it. Put it on a piece of string, attach it to the back of this. There's something about that. I don't know what it is about a talisman. It can be anything as long as it means something to the family, to the couple. Wow, that was interesting. I've not been shown that before.
Friend, my people are all about using talismans, so.
Oh, good to know.
Like, it's a huge native thing to have a talisman on you, usually in necklace form or for some such other device.
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I couldn't figure out up until recently why I had to have this owl on me, and because I wear this owl anytime I go out, almost anytime if it's not around my neck, it's somewhere on my body. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, you know what I got told? I
couldn't figure out why.
Mine
until recently.
Because I got asked by an elder what talisman I carry. I told them I don't. Car keys, I guess? And they're like, no. What is something that if you walk away from, you feel bad? And I said, well, I can't think of any, like, I guess my hat. And they told me, your idea of a talisman is a hat. Because literally, if I walk out of the house, by the time I get to my car, I feel so horrible not having a hat on. And
yeah, I know people like that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I have to have a hat. It has to be one of mine.
I literally just saw it has to do with the band around the head. I don't know why. But that's literally what I'm being shown. It has to do with the band specifically around the head, and it's something about the covering. Oh. Remind me. I don't want to do that on air, but remind me after the show privately to tell you something. That's interesting.
Friend.
Listen.
Oh, it just weirds me out. Friend. Because I don't know anyone else that can't not wear one like I have that issue. Sometimes I feel like it's just like OCD or something.
Mm-mm. But then there's something specific to it, and the word that I just got makes me wonder if it's a past lifetime. That much I can say. I'm just not going to say the word, but publicly. But makes me wonder if it's a past lifetime.
I get it. I was a Ku Klux Klan member, and I can't live without the white hood.
No, oh my God, I'm going to smack the crap out of you.
I'm probably getting that finger again.
No. The second you said finger, I saw a middle finger.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of ancestors that could be giving me that one. Friend.
So, but,
all right.
No.
So our next one.
What the hell would make you say that? I don't even want to know. Let it go, Nikki. Anyway, go on.
It was something I saw earlier.
Oh, well, okay, that would do it.
Friend, yeah. Friend. And, yeah, I'm not going to talk about that on the show either.
Okay, that's good.
Friend, I'll tell you later, because it was funny as fuck, though. Friend. So this one comes from subreddit Alien Abductions. Friend, by Accomplished Sir 3896.
Okay.
I believe my brother and I were abducted. Okay. I'm convinced that my brother and I were abducted by aliens. We lived in the woods in northeastern Pennsylvania at the time, and it was late January 2014 to 2015. We had just gotten back from dinner at a co-worker's house. My brother had some wine with dinner, but I didn't drink at all. We were packing a pipe and getting ready to smoke when suddenly everything went blank. Mind you, this wasn't the first or last time we smoked this, and it certainly was not what we smoked that caused this. The next morning we woke up in the living room at the same time, both of us on separate couches. He said what I was thinking. I don't remember going to sleep last night. I told him that I didn't either and started getting our dog's breakfast ready. As I did, I began to recall what I thought was a nightmare from the night before. In my dream, we were in the woods back behind the house, frantically running through the snow back towards the house. I can still remember it like it happened yesterday. We were horrified and running as fast as we could. Once we got to the house, The door was locked, and instead of trying to find a spare key, which we almost always kept in the work shed, we began to forcibly rip one of our electronic garage doors open. It was one of the remote control systems that only work when you press the button from inside or on a remote. The door began to bend under our hands, and I could hear it breaking as we forced it back against the track. I remember yelling, "Come on," as my brother yelled and grunted as he asserted himself. As the door reached our waist midsections, my dream ended. My dog finished his breakfast, and I went to take him outside to go to the bathroom. My brother decided to tag along for a change. As we exited the house, I went to follow my dog to the woods to monitor him, but my brother walked right over to one out of 3 garage doors that we forced open in my dream. He immediately crouched down and seemingly began inspecting the base of the door for bends or breaks in the aluminum the way it was in my dream. Hesitantly, I asked him what he was doing, and he turned and looked at me with the most peculiar look on his face. He said, "I had the weirdest dream last night," and then proceeded to tell me exactly what I had dreamed. The only thing is, the door was not bent, and there was no footsteps in the snow leading out of the woods back up to the house. In the same area 2 years prior, I was waiting for my dad to pick me up from a dishwashing job. I was the last one there that night, and I locked up behind me. I remember standing next to the road, waiting when suddenly a ball of light, a lot bigger than a softball, appeared over the road about 25 yards away. It immediately started coming down the road over the ground at about a 20 miles an hour pace. It did not make a sound, and I promise you that I was sober. As I got closer, it looked like an upset bright light that was reflecting a perfect ball around it. Once it flew a bit past me, it turned upwards towards the sky at a 90-degree angle. Once it did, it launched up into the sky faster than anything I've ever seen. It literally vanished in a millisecond. My dad definitely doesn't believe me. I've written college papers about both these experiences, and I'm not the type that just sees things. That's it.
Good job breathing.
What do you guys think?
Sounds just like a typical ET abduction. To be blunt.
Why would the door not be, like, did that part actually happen? Or is that something that the ETs made them think?
It's very possible it's something that the ETs made them think for a collected dream. The thing is that in some situations like that, can't say that publicly. Damn. I had something similar. Okay. Same dream. Same kind of situation with a dream. But the difference was that it wasn't something that how do I say this? It was to where the person and I both experienced the same exact thing. It was not projected or a screen memory. It sounds real similar to a screen memory. Why they would give the exact same thing, that can come down to laziness on the ET part, which is extremely frustrating. And it's one of the ways that, okay, let's put it this way. I would call into question as to which species of ET they were abducted by. Do I think that that's an ET abduction? Yes, I do. And there are many reasons why I think that. It's extremely unusual for two people, especially two men, let alone the fact that they were brothers, to have the exact same situation in a dream. Extremely rare.
Yeah.
There's only one of two possibilities regarding that. One is to where they psychically connected to each other in dreamland, in their dream state. Boy, the other just literally went right out of my head. I can't even recall the other now. God bless it. So, crap, I can't call it back up. Anyway, yeah, I do believe it's ET abduction. I would definitely call into question which ET race species had done it. And to be blunt, that is standard operating procedure to do a screen memory. It's also standard for certain ETs to be that freaking lazy to do that with both of them. I mean, like, that just irritates the crap out of me, no end.
Well, see,
but it does mean that they were taken together. God dang.
I would have questions for the brothers, and I'd want them both in the same room.
Oh, I'd have question too.
But like both in the same room just to compare things, because if they both had the same dream, I want to know if they both said, "Come on."
Yeah.
Because, yeah, I believe alien races, they are, a lot of them are more advanced.
Yes.
That doesn't mean they're not valuable.
Exactly. And the other thing is, Cole, is that not all of them can do screen memories. Not all of them can be telepathic. Many can be, but not all of them.
Yeah.
So the fact that they have what I would classify as a screen memory calls into question which specific race. It also calls into question the laziness of giving the exact same dream with same body things. Now, the one person that I had the same kind of dream with, we were individual, but it was everything else was the same. That's not laziness on the part of the ET that did it. That did the what was described to me. I was like, anyway, so yeah, that to me is a ET abduction. That to me, based on my own personal experience and from many other people that I know that are abductees or contactees, whichever terminology you want to use. The fact that they were running scared, that's deliberately done. That's a screen memory that is deliberately done to create fear.
Okay.
That tells me, personally, that it's not a very kind race of ET.
Yeah.
Which tells that's nefarious purposes, in my opinion. It also tells me what else has happened to them. Do they have marks on their body? Did they notice individually, did they notice like a triangle, call it an ET tramp stamp, triangle mark on their body? Did they have claw marks on them? Did they have, I know somebody who made it very public, so I can actually say this, they had wounds that look like surgical marks on their body. And they actually had surgery on a specific joint of their body. And the good ones, they'll actually spray a certain kind of spray over those wounds and they will heal. The bad ones, they don't give two shits. So they will leave as a scar. The surgical wound, the cut open on the skin as it's going to start healing, but they didn't bother putting the proper spray over it to heal it quickly within a 12-hour period, or even a 6-hour period for that matter. So that's not okay. Top of my hands are putting the crap out of me. Sorry, guys. So, yeah, I do believe it's an ET abduction, but I would be asking what kind of body marks, what kind of sensations afterwards did they have? They obviously didn't smoke their bowl or their pipe or whatever it is, because neither one of them remember going to sleep.
Yeah.
There's too many factors here not to be an ET abduction. Hopefully I said that correctly.
Yep.
So I know a couple of different groups. If they're interested, they can talk in those groups about.
Well, okay, so I have a question. This is kind of a side thing off a comment. So someone gave them a suggestion.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of mugwort?
Yes.
Okay. So this person states that if they take mugwort, powdered mugwort, make a brew of it with spring water, and turn it into a tea, strain it after it cools, and put the liquid in a spray bottle, and spray their entire body every day, the aliens won't come back.
Not true.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
You can spray your body with it. It might, depending upon... Mugwort is used in Wicca, in witchcraft, in kitchencraft, in those that are herbalists. You can do a lot with mugwort. Mugwort works really well for helping with bruises and stuff, although I would use arnica over mugwort, or I'd use oh my god, there's a specific one that I used to use when I had somebody that I knew that broke a bone. I made a paste out of it and plastered them with, I can't think of the name of it right now. Anyway, it's good for that kind of stuff, but it also helps with bruises and stuff.
See, and this just says I hate the smell of it.
Yeah, it's not a pretty smell.
Not
at all. It's like, it reminds me, in a lot of ways, it reminds me of golden seal.
So
golden seal has a wicked smell to it. But
they might not want to abduct you, but no one else will either.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing about being an ET abductee. They probably have implants. If they don't have them inside their body, it is possible, and I didn't even know this was possible until I met somebody who saw this on me. I met somebody at your guys' conference who actually saw, and you know who I'm talking about, I'm not going to name them, but I actually met somebody at your guys' conference, and she goes, your aura, she reads auras, and she goes, you have I can't remember how she worded, but it was along the lines of, you have an opening in your aura. It's like there's a section that, and when I had that looked into by somebody else later on, I was told that, yes, Pants, Friends, and Scar. Yeah. So Robert says, so anyway, I found out that I had a very rare, but it can happen, implant device, ET implant device in your aura. And a combination of psychics, including Robert, who later on told me this too, privately, both privately and I think publicly, I can't remember at this second, that it takes a number of specialist ETs to do that. Because to screw with a person's auric field, they have to call in a specialist to do it. And that blew me out of the water when I found that out. And supposedly I'm the only one that I've come across out of all the ET abductees and contactees that has had that happen. I've not heard a single other person talk about it, but I do know that it can happen because of my own experience. So if you do not have one in your body, it's possible to have it in your auric field. It was a hell of a mind bender, but yeah, I do have ones in other parts of my body, physical in other parts of my body.
I'm not gonna lie.
But
you know how you guys said me and Kayla were possibly abducted?
yeah, I still think that.
Okay, so
Matter of fact, I have news for you on that.
well,
Anyway,
I think that if they did, I didn't get an implant. Because if they talked to me at all while they abducted me, I know what I would have asked for. I would have asked for double D's, because I want to go work the pole, make some money. They would have been so annoyed they just would have tossed me back.
it doesn't work like that. It does not work like that.
You know, it might not work like that for most people, but I can be pretty persuasive. Like, maybe if I told them I'd let them play with them. You know?
Oh my God, Paul. Oh my God, why am I smelling maple donuts? I'm smelling maple donuts.
Because that's what my tits would smell like. I'm Canadian.
I'm literally smelling like those long donuts with the maple glaze over them. What the hell is up with that? Okay, never mind. Anyway. Anyway, no, what I was going to tell you was that I looked on New Fork.
Yeah.
This is beside the point. I looked on New Fork, and in 2017 on that road, I think it was 2017. I'll have to go back and look. On that road that you talked about,
yeah,
there was a sighting in the exact spot that you and
probably
talked about. And there's one up in concrete. There were a couple up in concrete, but that's beside the point. Anyway, I thought it was very interesting. I was going to mention it privately, but since you brought it up,
you got to admit, with how good everyone says that the implants or the aliens are at giving implants, they could make bank on this world. Like,
yeah, but they're making bank
because there's not even a scar for
they're
most
making
people.
Bank. No, there's not. They're making bank genetically. A lot of them are trying to rehabilitate, repopulate different planets because of dying out. So they're using hybrids. There's so many good and positive things regarding the hybridization programs, and then there's a lot of negative. Then there's a great deal of negative that comes with it as well. So I mean, it's just. But yeah, as you said, they're making bank already, or as you said, calling it bank. So, but yeah, these two gentlemen, these two brothers, I believe they're abductees, and there are groups that they can be in to talk to people. They may not want to remember. That's the other thing. If they were both that freaked out, I mean, I would have been pissed. I mean, I was livid. I remember what my stages were. I went through what you would classify stages of grief being an ET abductee when I made realizations of being abducted and being brought back, and certain things were positive and certain things were negative. I mean, it is a hell of a process.
I think that they do, he wants to, because
one of the brothers.
You're the one who wrote it, because he's written college paper. You don't normally write college papers on something you don't want to remember. So
exactly.
Friend, he is interested, but he doesn't ever state that his brother is any more interested in pursuing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that when you commented that, or when you read that he was writing college papers on it. That actually speaks volumes. Yeah. But he's also trying to get validation. Here's the thing. He's trying to get validation that it's real, that it happened, that it did take place. And he's trying to figure it out. That's one of the reasons you don't write college papers on this kind of stuff. And you're gonna get all kinds of shit from people if you're making that.
Yeah.
So he's trying to, in my opinion, based on what it sounds like to me, he sounds like he's trying to figure this out. This is a big deal. When you're an abductee, you try to figure shit out.
And he's trying to find like-minded people.
Yeah. Oh, I could give him a slew of places he could go for like-minded people. Matter of fact, send that one to me. I will get onto my Reddit account that I'm not on very often. I'll try to get on that tonight and send him. Well, they don't allow links, but I can give him names of places that he can look at on YouTube for like-minded individuals.
Hold on one second. Let me look at something.
Yeah.
This is on alien abductions, so I believe they are okay with links.
Okay.
Friend, especially if you just send them a chat. Friend, that usually makes a difference. Yeah. So you can send chats now to the person?
Really?
Yeah. There you go. Sent that one.
Okay, thanks.
Friend, yeah, that way you can talk to them directly. That's how I do most of our things. Unless it's in one that I know I can post in. But like a few of them I got kicked out of because I put a link to our show in there.
Yeah.
And like it didn't only make it so I can't post, I can't view that Reddit subreddit anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thank you for the link, because I will, because even just naming names of shows but not sending a link, some of these are very easily findable.
Yeah.
So.
Friend.
And then there would be some that I would stay away from, but that's.
Well, yeah. Friend.
Yeah, be careful who you follow in ufology. Whew. Understatement.
I mean, don't follow Ghost Adventures because your wife will end up trying to kill you.
Oh.
Friend, just saying. Just saying. Wives are crazy. Friend.
A lot of wives are crazy. What are you talking about?
Friend, that's true.
Maybe you're sick of mentioning Zach all the time.
Oh, for God's sake. Yeah, you got to watch out for TV shows because they are entertainment purposes.
You know what though? He hasn't
those
been
are
in the news.
legal premises.
He hasn't been in the news.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of that individual.
But then again,
you can be thankful for that.
No one's died, so he can't buy their body parts anymore. Like,
oh, that is so gross.
Yeah, but he bought.
That's necromancy.
Well,
hello. What the hell? That's necromancy.
He wasn't allowed to buy parts of them, but he bought Manson's toe tag. Like Charles Manson's toe tag, he bought that. Friend, the guy's a weirdo.
I'm okay. Somebody just played with my video hardcore over you saying that. The toe tag thing. I mean, they were like, do. So something's going on with that.
Well, he's building a museum of serial killers and
macabre.
Yeah, friend. So
no, that is not a museum I would go see. Things can follow you. There's no way in hell you should be. Oh my God.
Friend, your admission ticket is 2 for 1. You come as 1 and you leave as 2.
Yeah, freaking much, in my opinion. Yeah.
Friend.
That is some.
People are
I have choice things to say over that. I have a lot of choice things to say over that. That's not cool. I'll be polite about it. That is not a good way to go about things.
Right. So, we are at the last 5 minutes. Next week, we have Bree Stevens coming back on.
Yay!
And we're going to talk about something that really bothers me. And it's Easter. Easter itself doesn't bother me, but the way it's decided of when it's going to be and why the frick it doesn't equal up with the spring solstice. I don't get it. And I'm not happy about it. Friend, I like things that are kind of wrapped up in pretty little packages. So.
Little bows.
Yeah, like seriously, me and my mother-in-law sat there for like an hour and a half the other night bitching about the fact that Easter keeps moving.
Oh, it drives me nuts too. You're not alone in that.
So
I'm getting Facebook posts or reminders of what last year was like. Well, apparently Easter, I don't remember it very much, but apparently I was posting over a week ago from last year that Easter was at the beginning. I'm like,
yeah.
What? It's always been this, what is it, the second week in April? And it's not. It's moving around, and I'm like, what the?
Well,
anyway.
Yeah, it just confuses the shit out of me. But
You're not alone.
I'm going to do some research.
Okay.
As Nikki says. And
do your research.
and figure out what's going on with that. So, yeah, we'll have her on, and then I believe Rosella will be back. Yep. Kayla should be back, and
Robert should be back.
Yeah, Robert should be here for most of the show that time.
Yeah.
Fran, he must have got picked up.
Yeah, somebody must have gotten him.
So, and
he was outside of the doctor's.
We have lost John for the next 2 months. He has started school again for the spring quarter, and his classes are not as easy as he thought they were going to be. So, friend.
That's what happens when you're in college.
Wow, some of them I don't get. He's got a public speaking course that's half online. How the hell do you do public speaking online? Like, friend.
I can see part of that, but half the course?
Yeah, it's a hybrid course, so only half of it he actually has to be in class for.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, friend.
Interesting. I'm here to tell you, public speaking isn't so easy. When I was in high school, it was a big deal. I couldn't get up on stage to do. I was in an acting class, and it's tough. It was tough. They had a hell of a time getting me up. I had a wonderful teacher. I don't remember her name right now, but I had a wonderful teacher, and I had wonderful support from my friends who were trying to. I was too afraid. Now, standing in front of 250 people, I can do it. It's like nothing right now.
See, I learned at an early age because I was in 4-H, and part of 4-H is you have to do it every month.
Yeah.
But the way they throw you into that was so horrible as a kid.
Yeah.
And not horrible. It did, like...
Traumatizes some kids.
Some kids it would.
Yeah.
For me, it did for a second. And I was like, okay, I just have to do this. But what they do is... when it's your turn, you go up to the front and they have a hat. And you pick a topic out of a hat and you have to create a 5-minute speech in 1 minute.
That's debate in high school. That was for me, debate in high school. This is why I didn't debate, because I couldn't do it.
One of my topics that I got one of the first times was economic turmoil. I was 13. What the fuck did I know about economic turmoil?
Yeah, you have to research via the encyclopedias.
Nope.
At least back in my day.
You can't because you only have 1 minute to create the speech.
Oh, you're screwed.
So I had to ask one of the adults what economic turmoil meant.
Yeah.
And then once he told me, I explained how there was economic turmoil in the world of Mario. And I spent 5 minutes talking about the game of Mario.
Somebody's laughing.
Like, it ended up being one of the easiest things to do. It's really difficult to actually get up there and just initially start talking. But once you actually start doing it, it's one of the greatest traits you can have.
Mm-hmm.
Friend. So, I'm hoping John does well at this course. I'm hoping he does well at all his courses, friend. But I'm very proud of that young man. I'm very proud of both all three of my boys right now, and my daughter. So
I just got told somebody's very proud of you too, Papa.
Well, I did poop regularly today, so they should be.
Don't need to know. Oh my god. I was gonna say holy crap, but
no, it wasn't that holy. It was solid. And on that note, thank you for listening to S-4, and we will be back with you next Wednesday, 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here on YouTube. Do not forget to like and subscribe. Nikki, are you on tomorrow night?
Yes, I am on tomorrow night
Perfect.
at 7.
Yeah, 7 p.m. Do not forget to listen to Nikki Jacobs and Restore Belief with Nikki Jacobs on YouTube.com. Okay, guys? Thank you very much for listening, and have a great night.
Oh my god. Bye, guys.
Data transfer complete. System malfunction. Please evacuate immediately. Program terminated.
Son of a biscuit eater.